Ride the signal through the unknown. This is the cryptic current.
This is a spiritual diary that profoundly influenced the spiritual cultivation process in Europe. The author of the diary was a boy from a wealthy family in the 19th century. From a young age, he displayed unusual abilities compared to ordinary children. He not only saw light emanating from people's bodies but also saw friends from the spiritual world. But at that time, he was still naive, thinking everyone could see the same things as him. Therefore, when he first shared with others, the reactions he received were mainly doubt and ridicule. After that, the boy no longer told people around him about these things, but chose to meticulously record what he saw and heard in his diary. The reason the diary was published was thanks to the writer and musician Zero Scott, who happened to read it and was deeply shaken by its content. After much consideration, he requested the author's permission to publish the work. A few years before the author's death, after repeated persuasion from his wife, he finally agreed to publish it under two conditions. First, the diary could only be published many years after his death. Second, private details in the diary had to be altered to avoid disturbing living relatives and friends. The Indigo Child. But just like Tesla with his inventions, or Dolores with her past life regression hypnosis cases, or Edgar Cayce with his prophecies accurate hundreds of years later, this diary also contains many untold, remarkable stories. It is no coincidence that it is called the most authentic spiritual diary in history. So, what other miraculous stories did the boy experience throughout his life? Let's turn back time to the year 1885. The most authentic spiritual diary in history. Hello everyone, I am Miss Ruby. The boy began writing the diary in 1885, when he was about 6 to 8 years old. From his perspective, we can see a completely different world. According to the diary, he saw many things invisible to the naked eye. Among them, the most common was the aura of light emanating from each person's body. Everything is light. It mentions that some animals, such as birds, reptiles, and insects, can see ultraviolet light. How do they see it? Like in the world of Avatar. That is, in their eyes, Earth resembles the planet Pandora, while we do not see it that way. The world we see is more like Earth, while they see everything glowing like on Pandora. In other words, humans do emit light, it's just invisible to the naked eye. The boy discovered that each person's aura was different, and it even changed with their emotions. From this, he could discern a person's health, emotions, and character. On April 29, 1885, he met an old lady with an exceptionally special aura. That day, he and his mother were sitting on his favorite train. Throughout the journey, the train passed through beautiful fields and lush green trees. Sitting opposite him was an elderly woman. He saw her body emitting a soft pink light mixed with blue. The light was so beautiful that he really wanted to get to know the old lady. But the old lady seemed to belong to the common class. Due to the heavy class distinctions of that time, he was afraid of being scolded by his mother, so he didn't dare speak up, only silently smiled at her. Although the boy was not familiar with this old lady, based on his experience analyzing light colors, blue represents reverence, while pink symbolizes love, unlike other ordinary spirits. Surely, the old lady was a person full of love and a kind heart. No wonder the boy liked her so much. The boy was born into a devout religious family. Early in the morning of May 17, 1885, his whole family hurried to the church. While everyone was respectfully praising God, the young boy kept pondering. He didn't understand why they went to the same church every Sunday, reading the same things from the book for what purpose. The boy also remembered Pastor Will once said, "A truly wise person does not like to hear others constantly praising how wise they are, because it would make them feel uncomfortable." The boy thought in his heart, every week people gather together to praise God. It must surely make God feel uncomfortable. At first, the boy also told his mother what he saw, but his mother's thinking was too conservative. From the beginning, his father didn't believe in these things, nor did he allow the boy to skip church or religious teaching, so the boy could only write his feelings in his diary. In fact, not only with family, but what the boy said was never understood by those around him. The boy had a piano teacher named Florin. The lovely and amiable Florin was not like the scary, easily angered Ellie at school. On September 28, 1886, during a piano lesson, Florin was playing a piece by Beethoven. At that moment, the boy saw an old man in a room. The boy could sense that the old man was Florin's father, and he seemed to want the boy to help him with something. Then, the boy suddenly remembered his mother saying that Florin's father had passed away, so Florin had to rely on teaching piano to support her mother. That meant this old man was a spirit. The boy wasn't scared. He felt the old man just wanted his daughter to know he was there. However, he still didn't have the courage to tell the teacher everything he saw. On February 9, 1887, during a piano lesson at Florin's house, the boy saw the old man again. This time, the old man clearly begged the boy to convey a message to his daughter, saying he was there. The boy decided to gather all his courage and find an opportunity to tell the teacher. The clever boy first asked if Florin had ever heard of the third eye. The teacher was very surprised upon hearing this. It turned out she didn't believe in the existence of. Instead, she thought the boy's imagination was too rich. He wanted to give up. He described the old man and said her father was right in this room. Even though the boy described it very accurately, Florin still flew into a rage. She believed that if her father were really there, he would definitely appear to her and her mother. Not let a stranger see him. Florin also told the boy not to say such things anymore. The boy felt very sad upon hearing this and apologized to his. In subsequent lessons at home, the old man still appeared in this room and continuously signaled for the boy's help. The boy really wanted to make the old man understand that the spirit world has many more beautiful things. There's really no need to cling to his daughter. But he couldn't bring himself to say it. We often hear that if family members in the human world cannot let go of their deceased loved ones, then their spirits cannot leave. Perhaps because his daughter still missed him, the old man couldn't rest in peace. Among all the people around, not a single one understood what he said. However, there was only one person who understood. That was his private tutor, Mr. Botman. It can be said that Mr. Botman was the best friend and guide in the boy's life. Once, when the boy visited Mr. Botman's home, his wife had prepared a lavish afternoon tea. During the conversation, the boy suddenly noticed the spirit of a large black dog sitting right beside Mr. Botman's feet. Upon asking, he learned that Mr. Botman had once owned a black dog named York, but it had passed away a few months earlier. This made both of them very sad. The spirit of York that the boy saw at that time was wagging his tail, quietly listening as they reminisced about his past. This seemed to prove once again that any longing can bind people. Even when the owner misses their pet too much, those animals seem to linger around, unable to bear leaving. Perhaps, letting go of the longing for departed loved ones is a higher form of love. One evening, the boy was having dinner with Mr. Botman. After the meal, the boy saw a spirit appear in the room. Upon inquiry, he learned it was Mr. Botman's old friend, named Jimmy. When alive, Jimmy did not believe in the existence of spirits or any life after death. Mr. Botman thought that now that he had passed away, he must have completely changed that viewpoint. But strangely, Jimmy did not understand these things. He also didn't understand why the boy kept repeating his every word, like a machine. He even got angry because Mr. Botman didn't recognize him. Mr. Botman could only explain that the boy could see and hear spirits, while he himself could not. It turned out that Jimmy had no idea he was dead. Or rather, he didn't believe he was dead. Jimmy said he was not a spirit, and never believed in spirits in this world. Jimmy only remembered being sick, dying and coming back alive, and finally losing. When he woke up, he found everything was fine. No matter how Mr. Botman explained that he had passed away, Jimmy stubbornly insisted that death meant everything ended. Even when talking about humans evolving from apes, he didn't want to argue with Botman anymore and left without another word. In reality, Jenny had died from illness in the hospital. This reunion helped Mr. Botman see that his old friend hadn't changed at all after death. Even stubbornly holding onto the same beliefs he had in life. Everything becomes clear after death. And this situation was truly ironic. On March 9, 1887, during Mr. Botman's class, the boy saw a spirit dressed in sailor's clothes appear, lingering around without saying anything. It turned out he had recently drowned, and felt heartbroken seeing his mother in deep sorrow. He tried to comfort her, but she couldn't hear anything. Meanwhile, the spirit world told the sailor that the boy and Mr. Botman could help him, so he sought them out. The sailor hoped the boy could deliver a letter to his mother for him, so that mother won't be so sorrowful anymore, because if mother continues like this, it will make him feel very distressed. If mother stops crying like that all the time, and he and his friends are all very happy. He wants mother to know that now he can fly around everywhere, jumping and playing joyfully. Mr. Botman was moved by the sailor's filial piety, and so the next day he went to meet his old mother and told her all these things. However, the result was beyond imagination. The mother thought it was all the devil's tricks, that her son was already dead. Unless waiting until the day of resurrection, otherwise he would not return. No matter how Mr. Botman explained, she would not listen. Moreover, just like the piano teacher, the old lady believed that if her son were to return, he would definitely appear before her, not a stranger. This made Mr. Botman feel very sad. However, the sailor had seen everything. When he returned, the sailor told the boy and Mr. Botman the reason his mother was so stubborn was because she had listened to some pastors. He also said that in the spirit world, there are many pastors who regret what they said while alive, and wish they could take it back. After learning this, Mr. Botman's emotions improved a little. On October 11, 1887, Mr. Botman suddenly felt inspired and took the boy to visit a psychic who had opened her third eye. He wanted to know what the boy could see. The boy saw very beautiful light colors on the psychic, and the psychic also spoke about what she saw. She saw a powerful energy surrounding the boy, and the light was extremely beautiful. Then, the psychic stared into her crystal ball and began to speak about his future. The psychic said she saw that the boy would later become a great painter, and even travel across the ocean. The boy would also have a happy marriage but must pay attention to his health because his body is not very strong. The psychic also said that after growing up, the boy would see many paranormal phenomena and could even use his hands to press on people's heads to heal them. He would do many good deeds and also earn a lot of money from his paintings. Audiences who have watched the previous 2 episodes probably know that what this psychic said was not very accurate because the boy could be said to be indifferent to fame and fortune. He never sold his paintings, moreover his first marriage was not happy at all, and the psychic did not see that the boy would have a second marriage. But regardless, at that time for the boy, the psychic's predictions were a combination of spiritual communication and speculation. After the psychic made her predictions, Ben invited his spiritual master to speak with them. First, the psychic drew the curtains to darken the room, then somewhat like a seance, her body swayed strangely. The boy saw a spirit enter the psychic's body and began to speak. Actually, earlier when listening to the psychic speak, the boy had noticed a spirit with a very strange shape lingering around her. Somewhat like the Indian Sadhu mentioned in stories. S. diary, he did not mention the spirit. Because the room was dark, Mr. Botman could not take notes, and the spirit's English was not very fluent, so the boy also did not remember what he said. Basically, Su Ning and the 2 teachers said they were advanced beings because they believed in the existence of spirits. He also said that from another perspective, sleep and death are not very different. People die every night. When we fall into deep sleep, we leave our fleshly body. The difference is only that at dawn, the spirit returns to the fleshly shell, whereas in death it does not return. After speaking, the boy saw that spirit leave the psychic's body. What was unexpected was that something sudden happened. The boy saw another spirit also wanting to enter the psychic's body to speak with Mr. Botman. But it seemed unsuccessful and hovered midway. From the spirit's words, the boy learned that it was Uncle Jimmy. But he also discovered that what Uncle Jimmy said was not what the psychic had intended to convey. It seemed this psychic had mixed everything up. Finally, Uncle Jimmy's energy was exhausted and he disappeared. As for the psychic, she was also very tired and asked the two teachers to leave. It seems the issue here stems from selling the sub-body to an unsuitable person. Not only is the energy of both beings depleted, but the frequency mismatch also causes information to leak, like a mismatched radio frequency, making it difficult to read or receive information. In previous episodes, we mentioned that in this lifetime, the boy also has a master with a beautiful light, who we temporarily call the Elder. The Elder exists in the body of an Eastern person, but he can freely leave it and appear before others in the form of a soul. In many of the boy's past lives, he has cared for him, and this lifetime is no exception. However, what the boy doesn't know is that besides the Elder, there is another master about to appear to guide him. On the evening of September 23, 1887, the boy saw a soul with a Tibetan face. He had a very beautiful halo. The Tibetan soul stood by the boy's bed and smiled at him, but said nothing. Although the boy didn't know who he was, he had a premonition that this Tibetan soul would return. Sure enough, 3 days later, the Elder came to see the boy. Beside him was that soul with a Tibetan face. The Elder told him that on the spiritual path, each soul will have 2 teachers. And this soul is the boy's second teacher. In essence, this teacher has a flesh and blood Tibetan body, so the boy calls him the Lama. After the Elder left, the Lama reminded the boy of 3 truths. These 3 truths sound simple but are incredibly profound. The Lama said that the boy had learned them before, but didn't bring them into this lifetime, so he needed to reiterate them once more. He explained that there is only one life, but it is expressed through many different forms. There is only one self, but it is expressed through many selves. There is only one love, but it is expressed through many loves. The self and life mentioned here are unified, they are one. At the same time, the self and love are also unified, so the self, life, and love are all one. If a person can understand that each individual is the combination of self, life, and love, then that person has understood the principle of joy. Because the self, life, and pure, unconditional love are the greatest joy. The Lama gave an example. When sunlight shines through a deep red glass, it looks like a deep red sun. But when it shines through a jade blue glass, it resembles a jade blue sun. However, there is only one sun, it is neither deep red nor jade blue. Similarly, there is only one self, but it shines upon countless different individual selves. These countless individual selves are essentially receiving light from the same self. The Lama said this is a very simple yet profound truth, the mystery of eternity. He added that if humans can perceive the self in the existence of every being, then humans can perceive all existence. Love your neighbor as yourself. People usually understand this as loving your neighbor as much as you love yourself. But that is actually incorrect. The true meaning of this saying is, loving your neighbor is the same as loving yourself. Because you and your neighbor are inherently unified, one, with only one self. Like waves in the ocean, each wave comes from the ocean. Only when humans understand this relationship will all confrontation and division cease. It is precisely due to human discriminating minds that conflicts and disputes arise in the world. The main reason humans are unhappy is because they do not turn inward to seek unity with this self. Every soul, whether consciously or unconsciously, seeks great joy from itself. The wise seek it through wisdom, while the sinful seek it in ignorance and evil. Even though humans may commit sins, they do so out of their ignorance. They also bear the consequences for it. The Lama explained, this is the karma often spoken of in the East. Western religious doctrines have abandoned this truth about karma, believing that mere repentance can free one from all consequences of evil deeds. He believes that because of the law of karma, people have the opportunity to find the right path when they stray. At the same time, after straying, Ultimately, finding the truth of the self leads to final freedom. Regarding the issue of cause and effect, the boy continued to study under the Lama until adult, and he once asked the Lama, "So those who are now suffering retribution, remember nothing, what good does it do?" The Lama also answered each of his doubts. He said, although the human brain no longer remembers these things, the spiritual consciousness, the spiritual awareness of a person, never forgets. Since growing up, the boy has been gradually understanding the laws of reincarnation and karma. In Madrid, he once met a monk with a special soul. Through his spiritual abilities, the boy explored information related to this soul. He discovered that this monk was a lazy soul, because his previous life was also a monk. In this life, he should have fulfilled his duty to become an active entrepreneur. But he chose a peaceful monastic life like his previous existence. This means he wasted this reincarnation. The Lama told the boy that there are many lazy souls in this world, all using this method to evade their duties. However, they do not gain satisfaction from these actions. And deep down, there is a kind of indescribable struggle. In this life, he originally had duties to fulfill. But this monk chose to follow the exact same path as his previous life. This means he failed to do what he should have done in this life. The editor of the book, The Boy, Seeing the Truth, also offered his own analysis. He believed that the monk's past life story also brings us some revelations about retribution. He realized that so-called cultivation actually has no absolute relationship with environment or status. Cultivation is not only about correcting one's own behavior, but more importantly, it is about cultivating one's heart. Because the heart is the source of all a person's actions. So to put it bluntly, cultivation is precisely cultivating a person's heart. When a person does not turn inward to cultivate their heart, but instead pursues external directions, they will surely become a slave controlled by the desires of the heart. Therefore, after understanding the meaning of cultivation, we better understand why this monk was called a lazy soul. Because relying on the habits of his previous life, he only liked a quiet life detached from the world. So in this life, his emergence was merely attracted by this habit and desire. But in reality, he never achieved true inner peace. Therefore, the editor believes the only way to solve the problem is to directly face it. If the monk could enter the world to train and cultivate, he might instead quickly overcome internal conflicts and contradictions and better understand the true meaning of cultivation. I also strongly agree with this editor's viewpoint. Cultivation and environment have no absolute relationship. We can play our roles in any circumstances and scenarios, while cultivating and seeking truth within them. Indeed, although many people understand that being human requires goodness, often after entering religious belief, it's as if they become rigid, no longer reflecting or considering whether they're truly cultivating toward their inner self. Like the psychic boy, although in terms of religion, he is not much more devout than others. But you have never harmed anyone. More importantly, deep down, you have always maintained purity and goodness. Therefore, anyone can cultivate their mind, regardless of who you are, where you are, or your circumstances, can turn inward to practice. This is the most important and essential thing for you. I don't know what you think. Have you ever considered changing from within your own heart? See you in the comments section below the video. Our sharing today will pause here. If you find this video or the content on the Miss Movie channel truly helpful, please share it with a friend to explore together. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see you again. See you in the comments section below the video.
If the signal hooked you, subscribe and catch the next ripple.